What's going on, people? It's Emmanuel for Basketball Bicker, and I'm back at it once again this week with another installment of Basketball Bicker Weekly, where we recap all of the hottest stories from around the NBA from the past week and whatever else we feel like talking about. Now, this past week, a lot of things happened throughout the association, which we're about to get into. But whatever platform you're watching this on, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, make sure to like the video and share the video, and make sure to tune in every Monday night for a new episode. But now let's get right into this latest episode. We're going to start things off by highlighting some of the best performances of the week. First up, we have LeBron James. Now, LeBron scored 35 points and dished out 17 assists in the Cavaliers' win over the Toronto Raptors. And he did so without recording a single turnover. Now, LeBron proves to the Raptors and everyone else that the Cavaliers are still here in the East. It's still their conference to lose. Up next, Dwight Howard turned back the clock with a 30-point, 30-rebound game against the Brooklyn Nets as he led his squad to victory. Dwight's 32-point, 30-rebound game was the first 30-30 game by an NBA player since 2010 when Kevin Love did the same. Next up, we have Kemba Walker. Kemba straight torched the Memphis Grizzlies for 46 points in only 28 minutes of action. He also hit 10 three-pointers. Now, this game was also notable because the Memphis Grizzlies got destroyed by 61 points. They straight beat them dudes by an NBA half. Crazy. Now, in injury news, Kyrie just had successful knee surgery, but he's expected to miss about 3 to 6 weeks of NBA action. So we'll have to keep an eye out on how that'll affect the Boston Celtics playoff run. Now, on to the Warriors. Steph and Curry is expected to miss the first round of the playoffs. Now, if we look at the standings as it stands right now, they would face the Timberwolves in the first round. But only 1.5 games separates numbers 4 through 8 in the West. So it's a possibility they could even face the Thunder. And the Thunder versus the Warriors without Steph in the first round, we'd have to give that to the Thunder, almost easily. So the Warriors are in an interesting position right now. The Spurs and Kawhi Leonard saga continues. It was reported that the Spurs had a team meeting, players only, organized by Tony Parker, where they basically begged Kawhi Leonard to come back for the home stretch and into the playoffs, because the Spurs are struggling right now. They're in the 8th seed. They could very well miss the playoffs, so they need their star player back. And Tony Parker is up there in age. Ginobili is, almost out of the door. So the window is closing for some of these guys, and maybe for the Spurs. So they're really trying to get Kawhi back, but Kawhi is standing firm, saying he's not ready to come back. So this is a real interesting position for the Spurs to be in right now. They're such a well looked upon organization. They've never really had that much turmoil or controversy. So this is new territory for them to have their star player. He's standing firm. He's saying he's not ready to come back, but they want him back. So it will be interesting to see where the Spurs end up, at the end of this season, and how it impacts them going forward, and whether Kawhi Leonard would even remain a Spur in the future. I have to send a special shout out to Boogie Cousins, who offered to pay for the funeral of Stephon Clark, who was fatally shot by police in his grandmother's backyard. It's sad, very tragic situation, but it's always nice to see someone with the means of Boogie stepping up and, giving the family some type of relief. So shout out to DeMarcus Cousins for that, and we hope that his rehab is going well also. The game of the week would have to go to the Houston Rockets versus the Portland Trailblazers. Now the Rockets went into Portland having won 22 of their last 23. And the Portland Trailblazers were riding an NBA best 13-game win streak. So this was two of the hottest teams going head to head. And the game didn't disappoint. The game was close throughout. The Portland Trailblazers had a 1-point lead headed into the fourth quarter, but the Rockets pulled it out. Now James Harden had a crazy game. Down the stretch, he knocked down 2 clutch three-pointers to wrap the game up. And the Rockets proved that they held down that #1 spot. They're #1 in the West, and they proved it. Thank y'all for tuning in, and make sure to tune in with us next week for the next episode. And we're going to leave y'all off with a few highlights and crazy moments from the past week. Thanks. Peace.
So Joe Harris has 5. 29-26. He ran the building. That's what they came to see.
He does. Bounce past to Horford. Swings to Tatum. Tatum switches to the right hand. Stumbles in the paint. Kick out Morris. Steps to his right. 3 in the air.
Oh!
Got it! He got it! Marcus Morris hit the 3. And the Celtics have the lead.
It'll be turned with malicious intent.
That didn't look soft at all.
Man, oh man.
West to the next game at age 24.
Steph, flat pass. Petunia was so open and dropped it. Still on top and catching and laying it in.
Yeah, the Hawks have been hustling. They could have deterred that. They didn't expect him to drop the ball. Neither did Curry, by the way.
To separate himself from the defender. And look at that. Steers the rebound back out to George. Westbrook, Euro stepping his way into the lane.
You can't do that.
Can we see that again, Russ?
You know what I'm going to say, partner. That is now.
Anthony to make big shots. Ooh, nice move.
And boy, was that a big time shot by Jason Tatum out of the timeout.
58-55. Post that one on Twitter.
Now just watch this catch as his back is to the baseline. Watch this now. Woo! Wow. Come on now. His arm almost touched the scoreboard up top.
Great play by Young, but Miles Turner's hustling back. Allowed that to happen. Nice job there by Young staying on it.
Bogdanovich goes inside! Oh my! Hardaway behind the back, falls away in the corner, knocks it down. Tim Hardaway on fire here in the third.
We've seen this before from Hardaway when he scored 32 points in one half.
Steal by Gordon. Here's what you wanted to see, Jeff Turner. Aaron Gordon, a spinning two-handed throwdown.
Give us a little extra on that one. How about that? The 360. Welcome back, AG.